Hi, hello, vanakkam, and welcome back to yet another episode on Little's Law YouTube channel. So today in this video, we will see about how to connect the GitHub to NeoLoad. So this comment I have got from KM Prash, and this he has asked in our previous one of the previous videos where we were discussing about how to integrate load runner with GitHub. So he asked a question that do we have a similar video for neoload, and I would like to thank Kim Prash for your question. So here we go. I have created a video on how to integrate GitHub with NeoLoad. So let's go to the video. And before we move on to the video, this is me, Vasan Shanmugam. I welcome you all to Little Sla YouTube channel. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you have not subscribed yet. And here we have our NeoLoad, and going under the license management here. So here we have our license management window. So under our license management, make sure that we have enabled our license key. This is to make sure that we are enabled to, or we are able to make the changes. So first part is I'm just checking whether I have the license file, and then coming back to the next step, which is the collaboration. So here for this example, I'm going to use Git with HTTP. And again, the reason for doing this is I have, so here in NeoLoad, when I choose for the host, so there are different protocols, and since KPrush has asked how to integrate the GitHub with NeoLoad, so I'm choosing the Git option. And under this host, you must give the location of the machine where you have your GitHub installed, the GitHub installed on your server. So you must give your server details, the GitHub server details where you have your GitHub server. So I have chosen the protocol as Git HTTP, and then coming back to the host, let me show you the URL here. So here is the URL, and this is the one. So this is a local host Git server which I have installed for this particular demo. In case if you have your GitHub installed in particular server from your project or from your account, you are always welcome to take those details and give it here. But for this example, I'm going to use this localhost GitHub server. And coming back to this, so I'll have to give this localhost address here, from here to the NeoLoad. So let me enter those details. So the first thing I have to enter is the host details. And the server which I have installed is my local machine. So this is the IP of my local machine. And then the port is 80. Since I'm using HTTP, the port number is 80. And in case if you are using HTTPS, you have to enter 443, and that is the port number for HTTPS. And the author, I'm giving my name as Vasant and my email ID as vasanttce@gmail.com. So in case if you have any queries regarding NeoLoad, JMeter, or load runner, or any GitHub, or any issues or any doubts with your DevOps, please do email me at vasanttc@gmail.com. And then the login ID and the password I'm going to use as admin. So in case if you have your different username and password for your GitHub, please feel free to use your login address and the password. See the login username and the password for your GitHub. And then I'm choosing the test as my proxy. And then coming back to the test, so here I have to give the path name of the GitHub server. So let me give the path. So this again, I will show you how did I choose this address here. So if I go to NeoLoad, and here you can see this is the GitHub URL, and I'm going to give this URL here. So this is the one which I've copied, and I'm giving it as the path here. And when I click on test, you can now very well see the connection is successful. So this means that we have connected to the GitHub. So you are giving your host details, the correct port number, the author, the email address, the correct login ID and the password, because if you have any issues with your login ID or password, then you might be getting your authentication issues. So we have to be very careful in what are we giving the right username and password for the authentication details. In case if you are using private key, please feel free to choose the private key here and enter your private key details. So now I'm clicking on apply, I'm clicking on OK. So in the next part now we will see how to create a project and how to export it to the GitHub from NeoLoad. So now let's see how to create a project. In our example, the bonobo.git, which is actually the GitHub repo to your project. So first let's see how to connect to the GitHub repo, create a project, publish your changes, and then how to create branches and how to check out. So we'll do all these things in our video now. So first let me go to the repository. So I'm going to the repositories and I'm creating a new repository, and this repository is going to be neoload underscore git. And then coming back, so I'm giving, so this is something related to my local GitHub repo. So in your GitHub repository you will have to create your repository and you'll have to get your URL. So I'm going to the neoload git, which is the repository which we are going to connect now. So I'm clicking on the remote repository browser and then coming back to the repositories here. So I'm copying the repository URL, and now let's open the neoload. So now let's create a new project, and now I'm selecting the share project under the collaboration and the repository path. So this is my URL, my localhost URL. So in case your GitHub repo, and then the project name. So our project in this example is the neoload underscore git.git. So this is going to be our repository path. And now the branch name is going to be main. So let's check with main. So I have my branch main. So let's check it here. So I have my neoload git. Coming back to the details, so the repository browser. For now, I just have only my master branch. So let's go to the project here. So the command is going to be creating a GitHub repo and connecting it with neoload, or this can be anything that is related to our project. So I'm clicking on finish, and now we have our neoload git project that has been successfully created and shared. So now we have connected to our GitHub repo. So now let's record a script, our first script using neoload. I'm clicking on the neoload button here. I'm having my username user path, the first script, or I will change it to neoload underscore script underscore 01, and I'm going to use my web browser, and it's going to be Microsoft Edge. I'm clicking on OK, and here I have got my neoload recording. So the first transaction is going to be 01, and then the pet store. Let me bring it to the top here. The second transaction, it's entering the store. The third transaction is going to be my sign in, and then my fourth transaction is I'm going to enter my username and password. I'm clicking on login, and then the final step is sign out. So I have created all my 5 transactions. So since this is just an example, I'm giving you a demo of the example which I normally used to create as part of the videos. I am disabling all the other unwanted host. I'm clicking on next now. So I'm searching for dynamic parameters. Again, do a next. So this will search the generic dynamic parameters, and now we have to apply the changes. I'm clicking on next. Let me override the think time with 0. I'm clicking on next, and I'm selecting the authentication selection. So this is going to be the form which I have used, and then the username which I have used for the script, and then again the password. Clicking on next. I use the same recorded account for now, and then clicking on finish. So now let me expand this one for you. So here we have the script ready, and let's go to the repo and check. So here, let me refresh. So far we have nothing in the neoload git repo. Let's go back to the neoload here. So what we'll do now is we have created the script. So now let's go to share and let's publish the project. So click on publish project. The destination branch is going to be main, and then I'm clicking on next. So here you can see the servers that I've used and the user path, and here you can see what are the transactions which I'm going to upload it to the Git repository. So in case if I want to make any changes, so these are something, or these are the values which these are the steps which I'm uploading into my GitHub project, even the variable. So anything that you record as part of the script will be uploaded to your, or will be published to your collaboration server. So now I'm clicking on next. So in case if you want to enter any description, you can enter it. So for now I'm doing it as first script published from neoload to GitHub repository. Now let's click next. So the elements have been successfully published. Clicking on finish. So let's now go to the repository. Let me refresh it, or let me, so here you can see the main branch has been created and I have these scripts. So here you can see the message that I have entered. So creating a GitHub repo and connecting it with neoload, and under the team you can see the first script published from neoload to GitHub repository. So any messages that we have entered will always be settled with the project that we have explored. So here you can see I have my main branch. So this is how we create a project and we send it to the neoload to the GitHub repo. So now we will see how to create a branch. So let me go to the share and I will click on checkout. So now here it will show us only the branches that are available. So far we saw about how to create a project and how to publish it to our remote repository. So now we will see how to create a branch. So the source again is going to be our main branch, and the destination branch is going to be the develop. So in case if you want to add any tag, please add any tag related to it. So that the reason behind adding a tag is you can easily filter the branches based on your tag. So for now I'm creating a branch which is the develop branch, and the tag is going to be the develop, and I'm clicking on next. So now the main branch is being created as a new branch, and all the changes which we have in the main will be in the develop branch. So far we are in our main branch, right? So here you can see we have our main branch, and then we have our develop, or the tags develop branch. So let's check whether we have it in our repo. So here we can see the main. So here we can see we have the develop branch, and then we have even the tagged develop branch. So what we will do now is let's go back to the, so the branch, the develop branch that we have created is automatically created in the GitHub repo. So any change now we are going to do now is in our develop branch. So we are going to check out to our develop branch. So this is something like similar to the GitHub. So you have your main branch, you have your other branches, and any changes you make in your other branches, in case if you want to merge it, we can publish it. So for now, I have my develop branch, and then I'm clicking on checkout. So now I'm on my develop branch, right? So what I'm going to do now is so here you can see the publish project element. So if you want to make, or if you want to publish your changes, we can use this icon here to publish our changes. So in the develop branch, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create a variable which is the list. So now any changes that we make will be created in a new branch. So for example here, so I have added the variable. So here you can see the variables. So let me go back to my, so let's create, so we have our changes here. So let me do it again for you. So I'm creating a variable here, which is going to be the list. and then the credential for this example, and then the username, and then the password here. So the username is going to be 1, the password again is going to be 1. Let's OK, apply, and coming back to the actions here. So let's change it to manual definition. Let's change this value credential.username and then credential.password here. So now we have made the changes and I'm saving it now. So the next thing is like we cannot directly make these changes into your main repo. That's how the GitHub is set up. So what we will do now is we'll have to publish this project. So the destination branch is going to be your new branch. So this branch I'm going to make it as develop underscore update. So what did I do is I have created the variable. So I'm going to make it as create variables. And so for now, for this example, I just develop create variables is going to be a branch name. Click on next. And here you can see I have created a variable and the changes I have made is in my fourth transaction or the fourth step, and I'm clicking on next. And here I should enter whatever the changes I made. I should enter it here so that anybody in the team who is collaborating with the project, they can easily understand what else is happening. So I'm going to make the change something like updated variables, the fourth transaction using the credentials. Clicking on next, and this has been successfully published. So now what I will do is I'll go and check out my main branch. So I'm checking out my main branch, click on checkout. So previously, if you see, for example, I'll just open my develop branch. So here you don't find the icon here. So you can publish the project, but you can't update your project. So that's what we're going to do now is I'm going to check out my main branch, because main is the only branch that all the changes will come to your main repo and from the main branch, and from there you're going to make all the changes and you're going to test it. So I'm checking out my main branch, and now you can see I can update the project. So any project which I want to update, I can update it very well here. Then click on update project. So now it shows my project is up to date. So now we will see how to publish our changes to the main branch. So for that, so here we can see we have made the changes to the variables, and I'm clicking on the publish project, and the source here is our develop branch, and the destination branch is going to be the main, or I can give a different branch here. For now, it's going to be DEV. Click on next. So now when I check out to my new branch, which is the DEV, so here I can see whatever changes I have made is being deployed to the new branch. So after I make any changes, I can publish my changes to the branch. So here I have my source branch, and then here I have my destination branch. When I click on next, so automatically all my changes will be shared with the destination branch. So now you have created your project. Someone in your team has created your project and he has published all the changes to the repository. And you are now someone who wants to open the project as a fresh project from the GitHub repository to your local machine. So how to do that? And for that, you have opened your NeoLoad. Click on share, click on clone repo, and you have to get your repository path from your team. So this is the one thing that your team will share with you. So here I have just copy pasted the repository path. So here I'll just show you what did I copy. So for example, this will be my internal the local GitHub repository. So in case if you are doing from your team's GitHub repository, you just need your GitHub repository path. I've copied it here from here, and coming back to NeoLoad, I'm just pasting the path here. So now we can see the repository path is copied, the URL is done, and do a refresh. So once you do a refresh, you will see what are all the branches you have. So you have all the different branches you have that you have created, or your team have created. So for now, so this dev branch is the latest branch that I have created, and your team wants you to work on this branch. So please choose the latest branch of the team, or the branch that your team wants you to work on. So choose that branch, click on finish. So since I have this project in my local as a new one, an existing one, so I cannot do it. So for now, what I'll do is, like, let me create no, and let me create a new project which is clone neo load, and this will create a new project, and click on finish. And yes, I have got my project with the latest change here. So you can see I have the, so this is the latest change which we saw in our video. So this was the latest change that we made. So now I have that in my project. So this is how your GitHub repo that can be integrated very well with the new load, and it has all the latest features. So please feel free to ask questions and try this in your mission. In case if you have any queries, please send a message in the comment section or ask me in my email ID. So with that, we come to an end. I believe this video would have been very useful to you. So until I meet you in another interesting video, it's bye bye from Vasan Shanmugam and Little Slaw. Please don't forget to subscribe, and please do ask your questions and give your feedback in the comments section.